right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here on BCTV. If you are at home watching this, you probably know that it was absolutely beautiful outside today. And hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of the sun and the wind and just the warmth. What a beautiful day, and what a great day. Some of you had to work, and you're like, great, I got to see it through a window, but that's okay. One of these days it's coming, so we can't wait for that to happen. But thank you for joining us here on BCTV. If you're new to BCTV, you may, what is this? It's all about, we want to hear what God's doing in people's lives. We want to get to know the people in our church family. And so this is just an opportunity for you to get to know somebody. And if you're not a part of Brighton Chapel, you may want to become part of Brighton Chapel. It's a great family to be a part of. We hope you'll come and visit us sometime on Sunday morning. We have two services, one at 9 and one at 10:30. We'd love to have you join us and visit. Well, if you would like to kind of go back on our YouTube channel, you'll see we have plenty of stories of BCTV. And right now we're in a season of doing marriage stories. And we're going to get to this couple in just a minute. But before we get to the next month is the month that we get to celebrate Resurrection Sunday. And I am looking forward to doing some special BCTVs this next month. So I've got 4 people coming on individually for the 4 weeks. They're going to share about how they met Jesus and how he changed their lives. And so next week, you're going to want to tune in. Next Tuesday, Riley Miller is going to join us, and she's going to share how she met the Lord and what he's done in her life. And she's one of our young adults, and we're looking forward to hearing her story. I hope you'll tune in and watch this. Now, if you're watching this recorded, thanks for making a moment and just being a part of this, because this is really neat, and we're glad that you're a part of it. If you're watching on Facebook, share this along. Hit that share button and let other people hear about it. Let them hear the story. We can show what God is doing in people's lives, and you can have an opportunity to maybe be a part of seeing a life changed because of hearing that story. So we hope that you'll just keep sharing it on, being a part of it, seeing God do some great things. Well, okay, enough of me. I want to get back. I want to get to this story. This is Randy and Janine Mellinger, and we are glad that you guys are here. Okay, now some people may not know who you guys are, and like, are you guys from around here? Like, who are you? Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Both of us were born and raised in LaGrange. 2020, we moved to Angola primarily for my work.
Okay.
Long days. I really hated the half-hour drive back. But,
Sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, been in the community our entire lives.
Wow.
So.
Graduated from Lakeland?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And what year did you guys graduate? Do we want to know? Do you want to tell us?
Go ahead.
1986.
Okay.
1991.
Okay, so not the same age. All right. And obviously, you guys are married, and tell us a little bit about your family. You got a couple of kids. Tell us a little bit about your kids.
So Michaela is our oldest.
Okay.
She is 28.
Okay.
She went to IWU, Indiana Wesleyan.
Yeah.
And from there moved to Findlay, Ohio, was a children's director for 5 years.
Yeah.
And she has since moved back home and is in grad school going to be a counselor. So she's living with mom and dad.
Nice.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
She works with me during the day, and then in the evening she is either online doing class or homework.
That's awesome.
Eric lives in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And he is married. He got married in 2021.
Okay.
And he has a great job.
Gotcha.
He does something in the financial world that I don't understand, but
Does he make money? Does he help people make money? Or
he helps companies. It's like companies investing in other companies.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
high finance stuff. But
Yeah.
he seems to be good at his job. and
Well, that's always good.
Yeah.
Maybe that sports car you've been looking for. Maybe he'll say, "Dad, love you, man." I just say, you know, But that's awesome. Well, cool. So now, how many years have you guys been married?
40.
30. We've been married 30
Does it feel
years.
like 40?
Feels like 40.
It feels like 40. So obviously you guys have lived a lot of life together, and it's been here, right? It's been in this area.
Yes.
And are your parents, I know your folks are...
My folks live in Howe.
Okay.
Most of the year.
Yeah.
Part of the year they live in Florida.
Yeah. And then are your folks around or no?
My mom passed away in 2001, and my dad, he still lives. He actually lives in Angola.
Okay, gotcha.
So when we moved, he was happy because
Yeah.
A little closer to them or him?
So
Yeah.
he remarried. So
Okay.
they've been married 21 years, I
Oh,
believe.
wow. Wow,
So,
wow. Okay. Well, that's phenomenal. Okay, so a lot of life that you guys have lived together. And, just bravo that you didn't kill each other. I mean, I guess
She's a saint.
we should give you a medal. Just we
Yeah.
survived 30 years, because we've had some different ages, for years and stuff like that. But that is a long time, and I'm sure filled with a lot of ups and downs. And so, take us back. How did you guys meet? Because you're obviously not the same age. So,
Right.
How did you guys meet?
I was a waitress at a restaurant where he was coming in on Saturday mornings.
Oh,
And at 6 o'clock in the morning every Saturday, he would come in, and I said to the one waitress, "Who is that?"
It was my Notre Dame sweatshirt.
it was the Notre Dame. There you go.
Lady killer.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, it was maybe a year and a half or 2 years later that we finally went on a date, but
Okay.
our first date was actually not with each other. We were on a double date with other people.
Oh, well, okay. You're going to have to explain what happened here. Hold on here. You were going to this restaurant. Were you going there for a specific reason? Like, I want to get to know this girl?
It was, I think, right after I finished college. I had a job on Friday afternoon and Saturday. We was washing semis, Jack Oakley's semi we washed,
Wow.
Made really good money doing it on a day and a half. But every Saturday morning we'd go to the Frontier restaurant in LaGrange and eat breakfast, and the crew, and there was this cute waitress that kept filling my coffee cup clear up to the
Brim.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks for that. But yeah.
So she got your attention?
Oh, yeah.
Or were you like, I want to get to know this girl?
No, I
or
saw her.
just-
I'm like, man, she's cute. And I asked my buddy, I'm like, who's that? And he said, well, it's Janine Newcomer. And I'm like,
You're like, okay, put that in the back pocket. I'll remember that. So you said 2 years later.
Yeah, I think
So
it was probably
was
2
this,
years.
were you just not bold? Were you like,
Well, I was only 15 when we first met.
okay, so you were,
I was a freshman in high school.
you were
If you
like,
if you see
gotta wait a
the,
little
if you
bit.
see the African safari thing where the lion's chasing the gazelle across the thing, I'm the gazelle. She just wore me down. I was stalked.
Well, there you go. That works. Hey,
Yeah.
we can like that. I'm busy doing my job, making some money,
Yeah.
and here's the girl that's ready to
Yeah.
land me. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you then get
So my
this double date?
friend actually liked him.
Oh,
And so, but she didn't want to really say that. And her uncle, they're close in age, but her uncle, I said, well, let's just say I want to go out with him, and then you can go out with Randy, and we'll go on this double date. I couldn't say I thought he was cute because it was my friend, right?
well, yeah, your friend was
Right.
interested. Okay.
So on this first double date, we went out. I think we went miniature golfing, went to Wendy's to eat, came back to his apartment, watched a movie, and I'm sitting there thinking, I would much rather be with Randy. And evidently he was thinking I'd much rather be with Janine, too.
Oh,
So-
wow. So you both were going, this
Yeah.
is love brewing, but sorry,
Right.
we're in the midst
So
of this.
Later, my friend started dating someone else,
Oh.
and then Randy and I did kind of chase after him.
You did.
Kind
I
of.
did.
Kind of. He's still going to
I could have got a
counseling for-
protective order or something, I'm sure.
So,
So how did then the first date then happen? Aside from the double date.
right. He worked at Kearney Oil and Tire, and my friend's parents owned it, and she worked there.
Okay.
This was a different friend. Anyway, so she kind of helped us get set up for our first date. and
Okay. Do you remember?
I don't know why I said I'd go out with him again, because he didn't take me where I wanted to go.
Well, where did you tell him I want to go here? Is
Yeah,
that what?
and he didn't take me there.
She knows what she wants, and she's telling you this is what I want.
Yep.
Where do you know where she wanted to go?
She wanted to go to Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's, ooh, Mexican restaurant. I like Chi-Chi's. But you didn't like Chi-Chi's.
I didn't like Chi-Chi's.
He took me to Ponderosa.
Okay, you're like, we're going to Ponderosa.
Buffet. I like buffets.
So he took you to Ponderosa, and you must have been willing to, okay, let's go for this.
Like, whatever. Yeah.
Well, there's
I'll
more to it. She was also sick.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So,
On that date.
yeah.
Yes.
So on the way home, you don't realize how wide a bench seat in a pickup truck is until she's nestled in the far corner.
I didn't tell him I was sick, but I didn't want to cancel because my dad wasn't happy because he's 5 years older than me, and I really shouldn't have been going on the date, but
So
I
he-
went.
Now,
I knew it might be my only chance.
Well, how old were you? Were you like what?
I was
17
17 and
at
he
that
was
point?
22.
Okay. Sure, but still,
So Dad
I mean, that's
wasn't-
getting better.
Dad wasn't super happy about
Sure.
it, but
Sure. Did he require any, like, you got to come and ask my permission to take my daughter out for?
Oh no, there was no doubt there wasn't going to be a yes to that.
So let's,
Yeah.
do you want to meet over there? There you go.
Well, there was a lot of the sneaky part was on like behind the scenes for me. 'cause
Oh,
that
sure.
that was in their house. So.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
but we got through it.
You got
We
through
got
that.
through it, and even though Dad eventually knew we were dating,
He opened up.
he
Tolerated.
Opened it. He tolerated.
He tolerated for a
Yeah.
while. For a while.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that was your first date. Well, and she wanted to sit way on the other side of
Because
that
I
bench.
did. I had like 102 fever.
Oh no! Okay,
Yeah, so
that's
I
why you
didn't-
were staying far away.
Yeah. He didn't know.
But you didn't want to cancel. This isn't a date. This is the guy I want to be with, and this is,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Okay. So then, how did it go from there? Like in the relationship, like did you got a second date?
I
Obviously.
think it was 2 or 3 weeks later we wound up going out
Okay.
again, and I don't remember where that date was. Or was that when we went to the movies with on a double date? And
I think we saw Look Who's Talking, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Look Who's Talking. I remember that movie. That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So at what point did you start realizing, yep, I think this is it. I think this is going to be long term.
I think it was maybe for both of us. I went to my first year of college in Heston, Kansas.
Oh,
So we were
okay.
800 miles away from each other, and
Okay.
we still wrote and called, and I guess you can tell about why you decided to ask me. Remember the,
Well, I remember one time she got a ride back from Kansas, and I had to meet her at a rest stop on I-70 in Indianapolis. And I'm just waiting around the house, 'cause I know she's going to be in Indianapolis at like midnight, 1 o'clock, something like that. Waiting for this phone call, because I'll be 2 hours out. Well, her people who are driving her car said, well, you better call him, you're 2 hours out. That was 4.
it was 4
So-
hours out.
Yeah. So I'm sleeping in a rest area in Indianapolis, and I didn't just drive home. So
Yeah,
I'm
you're like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, maybe this will be worth it.
You're like, there's something going on. So did you figure out like, okay, did you do some special thing like, I'm going to ask her to marry me, or was this like a, hey, what do you think? Kind of, moment.
Well, when we got around to that, I knew it was time, and I went and I bought the ring and couldn't figure out how to do it. And of course, I wasn't going to ask her dad because she was still in college, and he would have said, no, you got to let her finish college. And so my dad, he used to, like, whatever night it was, he would walk down the road and meet my mom when she came home from work, and they were gone. So it was just us. And I'm like, okay. So I got down on my knee, dropped the ring in the cushion.
Yes, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me see the ring.
Where did it go?
I
Where
was
did it
home
go?
for spring break at this point.
I've got like 117-degree temperature, I swear. 'Cause I was sweating, couldn't find the ring.
Oh, no.
It was horrible. But she said yes.
But she said yes. Did you find the ring, I assume?
Yes.
Well, awesome. So, okay, so now fast forward. Did you have kids right away, like in your marriage?
We waited 2 years.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And now some people have difficulty getting pregnant. Did you guys, you were like, we're fertile, we're ready
I
to
think
go.
maybe 2 months.
And you
Yeah,
were-
it was.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
No waiting on.
It was the
time.
Brighton water.
It was the
Yeah,
Brighton
we
water.
lived in that house on the corner.
You lived here in
That
Brighton.
was our first
Less than Betty
house.
Peters' old house.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How long did you live there?
2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 2.5 years, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
was
you
more
have the
than-
first grandchild on both sides, you grow out of your house very quickly.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was hard. Like, we didn't really say what Randy did. So Randy was a police officer when we first got married. And
Yeah.
living there, and his police car was parked outside, we would get people coming to the door at 2:00 in the morning asking for directions, or I have trouble, or,
Oh my, because they're
Yes.
a civil servant. They think you're here to help them.
Well, yeah, apparently it's a police station, but yeah, the 2:30 in the morning that her car's getting stolen, and I'm like, out of my driveway? No, in Orland. Well, I don't care.
Yeah, why
I'm
are
off
you
work.
asking me? Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was weird. It was stress. Everybody knew if my car was there, I was home. If
Yeah.
my car was gone, I was working.
Yeah,
Well, if I'm working, then she's home alone.
yeah.
yeah, that was hard.
And that made
It
some.
was hard being an officer's wife.
I was going to say, so how did you go? Were you planning to be in law enforcement?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
okay.
forever.
Okay. So when did you get started? Was it always the sheriff's office?
No, I wanted to be a state trooper,
Oh, okay.
but sheriff's department had the position that came open first.
Okay.
But
Were you married at that point? Okay.
Oh, no, he started before we got married, the year,
Okay.
year
in
before.
1988, I started as a reserve.
Wow.
And then in 92, I got hired full-time.
Wow.
And then we got married in 93.
Wow. Okay.
Because
Okay.
it kind of worked out good because I wanted her to like not be surprised about cop life,
Sure.
you know, and the shift work and
Sure.
stuff. So
Was it, I mean, and how many years did you serve in the?
22 full-time.
22 full-time years. And what was life like? I mean, you went, like, living here, was it because of some of the stops people would make to just assume, or?
Yeah, it was before cell phones. So like, I don't remember what year it was, 97, I think. A tornado went through. And it somehow jumped Brighton. But we didn't have, the phones went down. I don't know. I'm going call to call. I can't check on her. We got a baby and a dog.
Oh, my.
And I started my shift at 2 o'clock that afternoon, and I think finished my shift at like 7 the next morning, and then we ran new police cars over to Elkhart to get put together, and I got home at like 12 noon
Wow.
the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because you,
was gonna say, what
you
was
get
it-
put on the back burner as,
I'm
you know,
sure.
he's serving everybody else, and family comes last, and they don't get paid much as officers, or at least they didn't then.
Sure.
So he always, from the time Michaela was born, he always had 2 jobs. So I was kind of a single parent.
Sure.
It was hard. It was
Wow.
hard.
Did you feel as a wife and a mother, could you talk to him about those things? Were those moments where it felt like, you know, he's focused and doing, and I'm just
Well, there
trying
was
to
one
catch up?
time, I don't know if I told you this before, there was one time that I met him at the door when he came home from work. Before I let him in the door, I opened it, I put my finger in his face and said, "I am your wife, I'm not one of your criminals."
Wow.
That attitude stops right here before you come in our home.
Oh, my. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. That got the attention, huh?
It did.
So did it just kind of come into the home?
Yeah,
Is that
and he
what-
didn't mean it against
Yeah.
me. He really didn't.
Yeah.
But he needed to be aware that it was coming
coming
against.
in.
Yeah, it was coming in.
Wow.
And even then, it was hard. I had to give him his space, which is hard for me because I
Oh,
like to
sure.
talk. I'm a woman. I like to talk about feelings.
Sure,
and
sure.
He didn't want to.
Gotcha. You like to just go do something like,
Yeah.
Shut it
kill
off and-
kill a deer, rabbit hunt, something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
would help you to kind of
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
the chill and be all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was hard. You know, when he was late, what's happening? Is he okay?
Wow. That's right, because no cell phones at that point.
Right, right. So
Right.
I quit listening to the scanner because if something happened to him, I wanted to know by somebody coming to my house to tell me instead of me hearing it on the scanner.
Sure.
So, yeah,
Wow.
it was hard.
Wow. Do the kids ever think about law enforcement? Like, is that something that, being in law enforcement, did that ever, like, where's dad? Dad's always gone, or whatever. Did they ever feel like they wanted to see?
Now, the kids kind of lucked out because with that job, you had some flexibility. So, like a lot of Michaela's plays and stuff at the school, even if I was working, I could slip in.
Yeah,
I still had to handle calls if they called me, but
sure.
in Eric's ball games, you know, I could slip in.
Yeah.
But I always made it a point that if they were home, I tried my best to come home for my evening meal.
Gotcha. What time would that typically be?
About 6:30,
Okay.
because then, we could eat, and then she had time, she could get everything cleaned up and kids put away, and then at 10 o'clock when I got home, then we have like 45 minutes to talk before you.
You got to go crash.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was working 2 jobs. I started my other one at 7 in the morning,
Oof.
so.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So when he retired, how was that for you? Like when he wrapped things up, or what, did it get easier as the kids got older, or?
It didn't really get easier on our marriage. I would say it got easier for me to just be like, okay, I know we have this family thing, even though it's your family, I'm going.
Sure.
Even though you're not.
Sure.
I basically developed my own life,
Sure.
me and the kids.
Gotcha.
But it was hard. Our marriage was hard. And
Sure.
I didn't know when the kids were going to be gone, would we like each other still? Because I didn't really know this man hardly anymore.
Sure.
We only were together, married 2 years before we had children, so we didn't have
Yeah.
a lot of time in the beginning. But we
Yeah.
did that on purpose because
yeah.
he is older.
Yeah. Wanted to get things,
Yeah.
5 years. Yeah. 5
Yeah,
years.
5
Yeah.
years older.
Yeah, 1 foot in the grave there,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
But when he retired, it was after he lost the election.
Yeah, that's right.
That
because
election took
you also went through that with him too, of him looking to be a sheriff. And
Yeah. that
She
a
took
toll.
it worse than I did, because as a police officer, you're used to people like calling you names or whatever. Well, you can't put them in a shell and keep them away from it. And
Yeah,
they're
I
hearing, you can tell me whatever you want to about me, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Gotcha. So did
That was hard.
do things become very public at that point, like even more so than maybe before when you're running for things like that?
oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, people lie about you and
Gotcha. Start saying things. And
start
then you-
saying things.
And how did you handle all this? Like,
I didn't handle it very well.
really?
I'm a people pleaser, so when people were saying things that weren't nice, it was hard. It was hard on me.
It
Gotcha.
literally from 14 until probably COVID, that she had like this huge chip on her shoulder.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's the forgiving one.
Yeah. Well, you probably built a wall.
I did.
You build a wall, and it's like, this is more protection for me
Mm-hmm.
than it is for the other people. But it does protect other people from me killing you all. It's kind of
Right.
And my wife, as a pastor's wife, that's not that I was not in the line of duty, like potentially harmed like that. I mean, I guess somebody could do that here, but I didn't have to face that kind of level of difficulty or challenge. But people saying stuff about me or saying stuff to my wife about me and different things like that, it does come part of that territory. And I guess you and I, it's a
That's
part of that.
It's like when Eric was playing football, he was a quarterback.
Yeah.
And when they said he's going to be the starting quarterback, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do the sticks on the other side, because I don't want somebody behind me talking about how my kid's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you can
there's a
say
lot-
what you want to about me, but
Yeah.
you don't mess with my pack.
Yeah. And there are a lot of opinions that go on, especially in football,
Yeah.
basketball too. It's
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, oh my. So when he retired, did you feel like you could relax a little bit? Like, did this help you?
It helped me a lot.
Really?
For a lot of reasons. He became a different person.
Really?
He mellowed out.
Wow.
He wasn't as stressed at all. He wound up with 1 job versus 2.
Yeah.
So we were spending a lot more time together. Like I said, I was nervous about that.
Yeah.
The kids were gone. Now he's home a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he mellowed out a lot.
Wow.
I attribute that to not as high a stress job,
Sure.
even though he's driving a bomb down the road now.
Yeah, yeah.
With
You might
fuel.
want to explain what that means,
Right, he's
okay,
driving-
for somebody.
He drives
Yeah.
a fuel truck, so,
Yeah.
yeah. But also, he could attend church more regularly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he went with us whenever he could.
Yeah.
But he was off a Saturday, Sunday, once every 6 weeks
Yeah.
for the first several years of our marriage. So
Wow.
that was hard, but those two things
Gotcha.
combined, and we found things that we like to do together.
So tell us a little bit about that. So now that you're in that phase of life, because you were a little nervous. Were you nervous that, or like retirement and I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're like, I love this woman, so I don't, whatever.
I was stressed with retirement because I don't like change. Because since college, I've had 3 full-time jobs.
Oh, wow.
So, and I'm 56. Yeah, 56.
Wow.
So I still liked her a lot, So
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is going to be great.
I'm ready for this.
We can date again, we can, just
Yeah.
go do whatever.
Yeah.
9 o'clock at night, we want to go into town for something.
Yeah. we
Let's
could do
go.
it. Yeah.
We don't have to bundle up kids.
Wow.
We don't.
Exactly. Did you have any inkling that there was maybe some fearfulness in her in moving into that next phase?
Oh yeah, she was quite vocal about that.
Okay.
Yeah, she's open. She'll when she was pregnant with Michaela, she's like, I'd come home, she'd be crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? What if she hates me? Well, she can't. It's the rules, Yeah, she expressed her concerns about it, and I'm
Sure.
like, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We dated once before.
Yeah.
I don't know how to date now, but
Yeah, we'll figure this out. So how did you then figure this out? Like, was it kind of like starting all over?
It was kind of like starting over, but we found things that we liked in common. There's
Gotcha.
things that we both like to do that the other one doesn't like to do, but we kayak. We kayak
Yeah.
a lot. We love to do that. So I'm on a personal mission to go on all the lakes in Steuben County.
Wow.
So
Is that
if
your
it doesn't
mission
have a
too,
public
or-
access, I'm thinking maybe we'll go after dark.
Sure.
the 101 lakes thing is kind of a myth because a lot of them are just big ponds,
Okay.
and not all of them you can get access to.
Sure.
But
Unless
we've
going through
put a
somebody's yard.
we put a serious dent in some of
Yeah.
them.
So
Really?
we
And
love
do you enjoy kayaking too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
My
we
wife
do-
and I do too. I know you guys do. And it's fun.
It's fun.
It's
fun.
very relaxing and so
I like the wildlife.
Yeah.
My thing.
Just watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been kayaking in Kentucky.
Okay.
As well. Is that the only other state at
Okay.
this point? At this point, anyway.
Sure.
Riding bike. We enjoy riding bike.
Okay.
We walk.
Gotcha.
A lot of hiking at Pokagon.
Yeah.
I think you said something. Did you post a picture one time about going up the big hill in Angola? Was
Yes.
that with the bikes or
Yes.
How'd you do? Did you make it?
Did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a jaunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
I was
standing
like-
up.
Well, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Keep cranking down,
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I learned you just look at your pedals and make sure that they just keep moving. You don't look at the hill because there's different
Oh, yeah.
peaks that,
Oh, yeah.
but
Wow, that's awesome. So biking, kayaking, what else do you guys find that you enjoy doing?
We like to go to different places to eat. We have our places we like to go,
Oh.
that we like to go back to, but
Sure.
we also enjoy getting in the car and saying, okay, we're going to Google places to eat and go somewhere we've never been before.
Wow.
Just-
That sounds like a lot of fun. You
Yeah,
guys sound
traveling.
like you have a lot of
Yeah.
fun together.
Yeah, we like to travel.
Gotcha. So traveling too.
Yes.
Okay, so
As much as we can. We didn't have a lot of money when the kids were little, so we didn't get to go, and so
now you
now.
have some time. Do you have, I mean, with working, both of you are working, so is it limited for how often you can get away, or
Usually, but we have been away a lot in the last year and a half.
you're like, all
I'm
right.
kind of blessed because my company gives me a lot of vacation.
Gotcha.
Hers is kind of the standard small business,
Sure,
couple weeks.
sure. Gotcha.
But I do, I can win some trips through work.
Really? Yeah. I
Yeah.
think you guys went somewhere with the trip you won.
We went to the Dominican in December of '22, and then Panama last December.
Really? Wow. Is he a good traveler? Does he handle that
He's
well?
learned to be.
Do you get stressed, like,
Yeah.
I need to know what's going on, where I'm going to be,
No, I've got a great tour guide, so she just tells me what to do. And
are you a planner?
I am.
Okay, you like to kind of figure this out, where we go, what we're going to do, what time we
Yeah.
getting up, all this fun
Right.
stuff. Well, good. So now that you're in this 30 years, you're looking life in your marriage sounds like it's not totally different, but looking back, I'm sure, do you like pinch yourself? Like, man, we've survived this. And, you know, it's been good, had our challenges. We've made it through. And the Lord seems to have been a part of your life as well. Has the Lord always been a part of your marriage and stuff like that? Like, meaning like going to church and reading your Bible or talking about the Lord or stuff like that?
Yeah, and he's in our life like every day, and you don't have to look that hard.
Yeah.
We didn't go to church for the first couple, well, we tried going to church. I grew up Mennonite,
Okay.
and he grew up Lutheran.
Okay.
So it was, where do we go?
Sure. Would that have been here, like in
Yes.
LaGrange area? Okay.
We had a falling out with the Mennonite church
Sure. Okay.
because of his job.
Okay.
So we tried to go to the Lutheran church, and by that time we had 2 kids, and Eric cried a lot during the service, so I wasn't getting anything out of it.
Sure.
So we didn't go for a few years.
Yeah.
But there was a church that was very good to his mom when she was sick.
Yeah.
So after she passed, I said, it's time we go back.
Wow.
And we were there for 18 years,
Wow.
very involved.
Yeah.
Me and the kids more than Randy, just because, like I said, he
Sure.
wasn't off a lot
Sure, yeah.
on the weekends.
Yeah.
So he did usher and do things when he could.
Yeah.
But yes, we've always prayed, and
Yeah.
we didn't always read the Bible together. We do now.
Wow.
Every night before we go to bed, we
Yeah.
read the Bible together.
That's awesome. Wow. Well, it sounds like you just have the model marriage. Way to
No.
go.
Yeah.
Good job.
No,
Boy.
there's been many times when I didn't know if we were going to make it.
Really?
But
Yeah, looking back, it's like, man, we were so dumb. Because all those old people telling us stuff, they didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And they might have.
they might
yeah,
have.
might have been.
Yeah. Might have had some interesting wisdom there. I know. I don't know what it is. Sometimes we just kind of muscle through it, but wow. Well, I know time is, wow, okay, time is getting really fast. So, so you're looking back and you're like, man, God's brought us through a lot of different things. And I'm sure there's a lot of stories you could tell. Like, is he a snorer? Is he a late night guy? Is he like to laugh? Is he,
He is a little bit of a snorer because he has allergies. So during allergy season, I wind up in the other room because you can't wake him up.
yeah. When did he lose his hair? Was it,
That
you
was,
know?
yeah.
My wedding picture, I had hair. I'm just saying.
It's life and
Yeah.
marriage, right? Life and marriage and family. It's like lost it all. There you go. Well, you look good. I know we're sporting the
Hair's overrated anyway.
It's overrated. You at least can grow it on your face. I really can't do much there.
Yeah.
So, do your kids, or like especially Eric, and now being married and stuff, does he ask you guys like, how do I deal with this? I'm dealing with a wife and I'm trying to do it right. How do I do it? Is he?
No, his wife usually asks, how do I deal with your son?
There you
I'm going to get in
go.
trouble for that one.
Okay, now we know the
Yeah.
truth.
Like,
Didn't you
Olivia,
train
I'm
him?
so sorry.
No, I mean, when he calls his mom usually every Saturday morning, and then I get a little like 20-minute, Dad, how do I fix this? Or how do I, or, hey, when you come into Indy, are you going to bring the truck? Means, yeah, I got to haul something.
I got to
for-
haul something for you now.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. I forget now.
I
What
know
was
you
gonna
had
say.
said like you talk with your son every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday for about an hour.
And does he talk about marriage stuff? Like, will he say, "Mom, I don't know what to do with this woman"?
No, we
no.
have a very good daughter-in-law.
That's
She's
awesome.
very sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have to ask what to do about her.
He's doing all right.
He's
Well,
doing
hey,
all
you
right.
trained him well. Way to go. That's awesome. Well, there's a lot of young couples that are all over the place, and obviously, I don't know if you can look back and say, man, there are some things that I wish maybe I could have told my younger self, or other young couples that are like looking at marriage and trying to navigate, whether it be, challenges with work, it might be the difficulty of maybe just not hearing each other, just like you said, with your schedule and stuff like that. There's, husbands are trying to work, provide for their home, and they're not trying to necessarily, hurt their marriage relationship, but sometimes it does get hurt because they're busy trying to provide and they don't realize what it may be doing and different things like that. So what are some things that you would say, if I could say to these younger couples, what are some of the things that you would want to pass on? Some lessons you guys have learned.
I would say, as a warning, life is going to get in the way of your relationship. But you got to fight to keep life from getting in, because this should be your life.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's the one thing that I've, since you asked us to do this, I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, life gets in the way of, and life's not necessarily a bad thing. You just it's gotta know its border.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention.
Yeah.
How is this impacting our relationship? Like, would you go back and change things a little bit? Like, maybe I wouldn't have done that, or
Oh, yeah.
spend a little more time doing this
Right.
with her. Gotcha. What would you say?
I would say that you need to try to see things from the other person's perspective.
Good. Yeah.
I know that's something that I used to get upset with him about a lot of things, and that's something that I feel like I should have done different.
Wow.
When he would get upset with me for not understanding where he's coming from, I should have stepped back to say, okay, I do see why you're upset. Can we talk about it instead of just being mad at each other?
Sure.
So really, really try to see it from the other person's perspective. And people deal with things differently, so give them the space to deal with things the way they need to deal with it.
Yeah.
He needs to have a little bit of time to think and be away, and then he would come back and talk. I want to talk right away.
Sure.
And that was always a battle, but, and take time for each other. I know it can be expensive to go on dates, but even if you just take a walk in the woods, it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go to a 5-star restaurant
Sure.
to go on a date. You can
Absolutely.
go to Taco Bell or just
That's right.
take a
Taco
walk down
Bell.
the road, but you do need to take time for each other.
Yeah.
And, maybe you can't afford a babysitter. There are people, Randy and I would be happy to
Yeah, it's like, hey,
help people out
we're
if-
empty nesters.
Yeah.
For the most part. And
bring
it's
them
like,
over,
yes,
bring
we'd be
them
happy
over.
to
We're
help,
not going
yeah.
to charge anything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I'm sure there's other people in the church that would be
Oh.
willing to do that as well.
Absolutely. Because we're in that spot where Luke is a senior this year and he's our last one. And we're both looking at this going, well, it's not that I want to kick him out. I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this. Like,
Yeah.
That was me.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, there's the door.
yeah,
Thanks
it's
a
like,
lot.
get going because I want to spend some time with your mom. I want to be,
But it's nice to have
Yeah.
kids in the house once
Oh,
in a
I'm
while
sure.
again.
I'm sure. Tiffany's much more like happy to have them go and live their own lives and still come back and visit. When they come back and visit, it wrecks me. And then it's like they have to leave. I know they have to leave and I have to go back. And that's really hard for me. I loved seeing what's going on, but I hate it when they have to go. It's like, oh, I wish you could hang around just a little bit longer. But that's awesome. Let me ask you this. You may not have had to carry a lot of stuff. You may have had, sounds like you kind of like a duck, it just kind of rolls off your back a little bit. Or maybe I'm not reading you right, but it seemed like things don't, maybe, like you said, with words and different things that people said or did or whatever, it might have rolled off your back. Maybe not so much for you.
Right.
So am I right on that with you?
Oh, yeah.
Like you could just let it
I had
go
a
and move
ballistic
on?
vest, and she
Okay.
had daggers. And
Okay, so if somebody's in a marriage relationship, and whether it be the husband or the wife, I found that it's not always gender related. It could be the husband is just got a lot of wounds and a lot of hurts, and the wife not realizing what's going on there, either. So what are some things that you would say if somebody is really struggling? They've had to carry some stuff. Maybe the world, like you said, the world kind of peeked its way in through the door, and it's created maybe some tension or some hurt feelings or some stuff like that. What would you say to some of these younger ones, and how to deal with some of those very discouraging moments?
You got to be open, communication, and maybe finding another couple that's been through it.
Sure.
At one point, I did wind up in counseling.
Okay.
I think that helped me a lot.
Good.
to deal with some things that I hadn't even talked to him about, but
Sure.
then wound up being able to talk to him more about it
Absolutely.
after that. But communication,
Gotcha.
even though he didn't always want to hear it,
Sure.
he needed to.
Sure.
And then he did teach me to toughen up a little bit too.
Sure. Well, and we do. I do think that we need to be sensitive, but we also need to toughen up a little bit
Yeah.
too. Because like you said, life is hard. Life
Yeah.
is challenging. But yeah, no, it's good to know that though, that there are people that others can talk to. I mean, if you're watching tonight and you're like, I've got stuff I'm going on. Like they say, you're not alone in this. You know, you're not the only ones that have had to face some of these issues. So don't isolate yourself thinking we're the only ones going through this. The one thing I hear from couples is, you mean other people are going through stuff like this? It's almost like mind blown. And it's like, yes, like all of us are to some degree. Sometimes it's the husband that's hurting, sometimes it's the wife that's hurting, but we're all going through stuff. So you are not alone. And I'm sure Randy and Janine would love to talk to you and just encourage you along the way. And so before we get out of here, we're going to close in prayer here. Any other last word to these? Have a good gun in the
Yeah.
in the shed. Have a good deer. Does she go deer hunting with you or anything like that?
No, she didn't.
I get too cold.
You're like, would she be the one talking or sleeping or,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, she would like probably put makeup and perfume on before we headed out. I'm like, no, not working.
No, you got to stay home. Stay home. Well, that's awesome. Well, you guys, I know you're heading out for a little vacation, so you guys have a great time. We're so thrilled that you guys came on to share your story. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being vulnerable. This is, you would be surprised how many people, it's hard for them to share a little bit about their life. Because it is. It's not easy. And marriage is challenging. But marriage stories are so powerful and so incredible that you're just to see. You know, you're not alone, that we're all in this together. Just trying to make it through. And Randy gets the bin. He wasn't killed in his sleep. You know, that's a great thing, you know.
Yeah.
My wife has tried. I think she, or maybe not tried, but she has thought about trying. And so it's one of those things. It's a part of life. And but you make it through, and you get to 30 years, and you find, I really like this person. I really like to be with them. I enjoy their company. And what a blessing that is. And I'm really glad that you guys are in that place, and you get to find that. Well, listen, if you've got questions, we do have a counseling ministry here, a biblical counseling ministry, that if you are interested and maybe you just want to talk to somebody, go to our website at brightonchapel.com, scroll down to the Get Involved. There's a section in there, I think it's actually on the main page too, where you could just, if you want some counseling, just click on the link and just sign up. We pay attention to that on a regular basis, and we'll get in touch with you, and it's private, it's confidential, so no one will know. But we'll try to connect you with another couple in the church that can just walk through life with you and help you along the way. Well, can we pray together? Let's pray together. God, thank you for tonight. Thank you for these two. Thank you for the blessing of their story. God, we see and hear from them. It wasn't always easy, and yet they stuck it out, and they worked hard, and God, now they're in a place where there is a lot of joy and a lot of blessing. And we're just so honored that they came on and shared, and that we get to be a part of hearing their story and be encouraged by it. Lord, I pray for those that are maybe watching here tonight that they're in that phase of life where they're reconnecting after kids are out of the house. I pray that, God, you would help them to just reconnect, find each other, lean in, find some things that each other enjoys. I pray for those that are maybe new in their marriage and they're kind of going, I don't know how to navigate some of these things, and I hear that there's challenges that will come, and how do I do this? How do I do that? Lord, help them to know they're not alone in this, that there are people that can come around them and just be an encouragement. We're not here to tell them what to do. We're just here to point them to Jesus and to let them know that they're not alone. Lord, we pray for those that maybe are in the midst of it. Maybe they've got a lot of stuff that's going on. This is just maybe even surfacing some of those feelings. Lord, I pray that, first of all, your Spirit would bring peace and rest upon them, but also to know that they can talk to somebody, and they can talk and learn to be able to communicate this stuff with their spouse. It may take some time, but God, with your help, we can see you do great things in our marriage. God, thank you so much for watching over us. Thank you so much for this series, this month of just talking marriage stories. It's just been a blessing. We love you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Well, listen, I thank you for joining us tonight. Next week, we're going to have Riley Miller on, and we're going to be starting our Stories of Faith. It's going to be an exciting time, so tune in. So God bless. Have a great night.